Well, here we are. Welcome, everybody. We are live with the amazing VivTheSpiv. And let me tell you, we've never had such a buzz straight away for someone coming on the show. Ian, you've got quite a following up and down the country. Let me tell you a little bit about Ian. Ian Dawson, he's a local guy. He lives in Mitcham. We've known each other for many years. He's also a great guy just outside of this. But he's got this character, VivTheSpiv, that's absolutely encapsulating. And it really does capture a period in time. And I thought it was so appropriate to have you on to the show right now with VE Day tomorrow, Ian. Welcome.
Cheers. Yeah, well, thanks ever so much, Ken. It's nice to be here. I didn't sleep too well last night, funny enough, though. I was woken up at 3 o'clock this morning with a naked woman banging on my bedroom door. You know, I had to let her out in the end, but there you go.
So, Ian, first question up. How long have you been VivTheSpiv?
God, blimey, about 20 years now, since I was 16, I wish.
God.
No, I've been doing it about 20 years now, Ken, and it's just fabulous. You know, I love it. I love the old thing about the World War II, the black market and all that sort of thing. Yeah. It's just been brilliant. I love it. I love it. I do it as much as I can. I go to all the events and, yeah, really good.
And how did you get into it? What made you suddenly say, I know what I'm going to do?
Well, I used to go to a club in Wallington to learn how to dance, and there was a chap there, and he was putting a thing together on the Bluebell Railway, which was what was called a 1940s weekend. And he said, look, we got loads of soldiers, sailors, airmen, land army, coppers, vickers, air raid wardens, ARP. Right. We got everyone, but we ain't got a spiv. He said, what about you coming along and being a spiv? I said, well, I don't know much about it. He said, no, but you know plenty of jokes, don't you? And I said, all right. So I went and bought myself a cheap suit. Well, I actually nicked it because the bloke weren't looking, and got myself a flash tie. See that tie? Look at that. It's lovely, that, isn't it? See that?
I love it.
That's my wife on there. She's a tie bride. And yeah, so I went along to this event, and as a spiv, and I had a bit of knicker elastic at Fruitvale Yard. I know it's only a penny in the shop, but you can't get it in the shop, can you? And while I was there, a load of people were coming up to me saying to me, well, look, we're doing a 1940s weekend in a couple of weeks. Will you come along? And I said, well, they said, how much do you charge? And once that word come out, I was on it, wasn't I? Once they mentioned the old spondies, and it's just rolled on from there. So every event I seem to go to, I'd get 5 more people saying to me, will you come to our event? Will you come to our event? And it's just snowballed.
Yeah. It's amazing.
You know, it's been amazing. It really has, yeah.
Yeah. I should say to our audience as well, because we are live, if anybody wants to ask Ian a question, they're very welcome to do so, and I can put it to him right live on air now.
Yeah,
it's great to have you on, buddy.
Cheers, mate.
Can you talk to us about the events you've done? Because I know since then it's really snowballed, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, I do a lot of stuff for Wayne Hemingway. I do all these vintage events all around the country, and I've done the London Palladium 3 times, Her Majesty's Theatre, Goodwood Revival, Riviera Swing, which a friend of mine, Mark Cockgrove, puts together. That's a whole weekend of like 30s and 40s stuff. War and Peace Show, that's a big event. That's in Kent every year. Yeah. I compare the V Marquee as the host at the entertainment tent. It's just been absolutely fabulous.
It's never ending. It's amazing.
It really is, yeah. I mean, doing the Palladium, I mean, I'd done that in 2005. And I thought they just wanted me to do a bit of sweeping up, but I actually got like 15 minutes on the mic, and that was fabulous. And that's a lot, you know, to start off all them years ago at the Palladium. Everything else is a piece of cake now, isn't it? I mean, you can't get better than that, can you? Yeah.
Just picture them naked. Is that how you do it?
Well, that's what I do. In fact, last time I was at the Palladium, they put me in a dressing room, and it was next to the girls' dressing room, and I noticed there was a little hole in the wall. And I thought, shall I say anything? I thought, no, let them look.
Ian, I understand you're the guy to come to for a watch as well. Quite fancy a new watch. Any chance?
I've got a nice selection. Funny you should mention that, Ken, because I've got a nice selection there. Look, can you see them all? And these ones, they're all ticking, unlike their previous owners, you see. Look, London, Paris, New York, your house. You don't have to pay me now. You don't have to pay me now. I'll put it on tick if you like, you know. I've got a Japanese one there. It's called a List Watch. Yeah, and this one here is a cricketer's watch. I see if you look around the back, you can see the catch. See what I mean? They're all elastic. They're all lovely. The higher they go, the cheaper they get. I've got a couple of Italian ones there, but they all go backwards. I'll tell you what else I've got. I've got some lovely, look at them. They're lovely, aren't they? Lovely silk underwear they are. I've got 4 sizes, small, medium, large, and your mother. Free fitting with every pair. I've got some American ones here. Look, there they are. One yank, they're off. These ones, they're French. Look, wee. All good stuff, all free fitting. They all come with a guarantee. And I've got some nylons for the wife. There we go. Look at them lovely nylon stockings. But I just sold a pair to a lady with one leg, only charged her half a nicker. Her mate's got 5 legs. They fit like a glove, well, they would, wouldn't they? He said to me, this bloke, I said, you want some nylons for the wife? He said, that's a fair swap. But there you go. I could go on, mate, but
oh, mate, and I could talk to you all day. I've just got a message come through from Alison, Abel Mabel, saying, "Great to see you and hear you, Ian. You've really made me laugh. Not half. Stay well, my friend. Love that."
I'll be round with that corned beef later, missus. Leave the back door open. In fact, leave the light on, the red one. I know what house you're in, won't I? Know what I mean? Cheers,
Where do
Alison.
you get your stuff from? I know a lot of people will be interested in the vintage thing because it's quite big now, isn't it? It really seems to be growing. So where would they get the kind of gear, all the 40s, 50s gear?
Well, there's a lot of vintage clothes shops around the country. I mean, years ago, you could go to charity shops and pick up stuff. But now everyone's on it. It's rolling along. And I mean, to buy a decent original 1940s suit, you're looking at 300, 400, 500 quid, you know.
Wow.
I mean, even these ties. I mean, this tie I just showed you, I keep getting it out, don't I? Have you noticed? You could pay 100 quid for a tie like that. You know, because the fella said to me, he said, because they're not making them any longer. I said, no, because they're long enough, aren't they? You know what I mean? But I think I'm putting on a bit of weight because this one's a bit tight, so I might have to shift that one. But yeah, it's all good stuff. I mean, when you go to these events, like 40s events, there's usually dealers there selling clobber.
Right.
You know, the thing is, because I'm quite tall, I have a bit of trouble getting. I mean, I might get a lovely suit, but the Jekyll and Hydes, the strides ain't like long enough, and you don't want to lose the turn up because it's all about having a turn up, isn't it? Really,
right? Yeah.
I mean, some woman said to me the other week, she said, "Haven't you got long legs?" I said, "Well, luckily, yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't reach the floor, would they? You know what I mean?" But yeah, there are shops all around. I mean, people that come into the scene, they usually start off with a bit of Mickey Mouse gear first of all. But as you get into it, you want to get like this jacket's an original jacket. This silk handkerchief. All these watches are original watches from the 40s, you know.
Yeah.
None of them work, but they look the part, don't they? You know what I mean?
It's fantastic. Yeah, we love it. Everybody loves it. Everybody up and down the country loves you. We've never had such a great response to an advert just previewing this show. It's been amazing. People have been all over it. Absolutely. And I think also it might be because you've done a fair bit of film and TV work in your time as well, haven't you, Viv?
Yeah, I have actually. Yeah, I've been doing background and stand-in work for years now. I've done rough stuff like I'll be sitting EastEnders. It's all right, you know. In fact, I was indoors the other night and my wife fell down the stairs. I thought it was EastEnders starting, you know. But some of the big films I've done is like Imitation Game with Benedict Cumberbatch, X-Men, Deep Blue Sea, Glorious 39 with Stephen Polyakov, the Polish fella. I was in Star Wars year before last. Cemetery Junction, loads of stuff, BBC stuff.
Amazing.
I've done a thing a couple of years ago where I played a part of a safecracker called William Goodwin. That was called, what was it called? The Real Pink Panther, which is actually a diamond. And I got a feature in that as well. And also in that Cemetery Junction, I got a feature. If anyone wants to watch Cemetery Junction, it's like set in the 80s. There's a scene in there where people are dancing to music by Slade. Remember them, Ken? Come on, feel the noise. Yeah, and I got a feature in that, so I got extra dough for that, and that was good. Working with Ricky Gervais was great, lovely fella.
Yeah,
bloke with the glasses as well. He's all right, but Ricky top banana. Yeah, really enjoyed that. So
have you got any celeb stories for us? Tell us a celeb story.
Oh, loads. Yeah. When I was working on Glorious 39, there was a chap there that was playing the part of a copper, and they got him in makeup and everything. And as they was about to do the take, the director, Stephen Polyakov, the Polish geezer I just mentioned, noticed that this geezer had a hole in his lug hole because he had an earring. Now, this is 1939. Blokes didn't have earrings then, did they?
Right.
And I was just about to do the take, and he was all set up. He had all the tissue down his shirt and all the jollop on his chops, you know. He was just background, but they moved him up to a role. So he was getting extra dough because he had lines.
Right.
Anyway, Polyakov went up to him and pointed to his ear and said, "What's that on your ear?" And he said, "No, it's nothing." He said, "No, what is it? What's that on your ear?" And he said, "Well, there's nothing there." And he started to raise his voice, Polyakov. And in the end, he just said, "Get him out of here, get him out of here." And this bloke was being like dragged off under protest, like his big chance to be in this film and have lines. They had a hook stick round his neck and he was gone. And then a bloke next to me called Barry, who was just a background like me, Polyakov pointed at him and said, you can do it. And he gave him a sheet with the lines on, and he had like a minute to learn the lines. He done the role, he got the part and played it really well, and went on to do loads of commercials and stuff on the strength of that. Yeah, so
just got his big break.
Yeah, not half. Yeah, I mean, when I was working on Sweeney Todd with Johnny Depp, because I used to be a butcher years ago.
Yeah, you were the butcher in that, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, and working with Johnny Depp was fabulous. You know, I mean, he likes a fag. You know, he likes a fag, and every time we had a break, we'd all go out and have a fag with him. Even the people that didn't smoke lit up just to be like part of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can imagine that.
And he was really friendly, tiny little fella, and lovely. And also on that film was Helena Bonham Carter. And when because I was the butcher in that, and all the background get on the set. In fact, the butcher's shop, they actually put my name above it, Dawson. How about that? And she would come on set every morning and talk to everyone, because she's absolutely lovely, Helena Bonham Carter. She's married to the director, Tim Burton.
That's right.
And, you know, we had a good chat. And then a few years later, when I was on Imitation Game with, I've forgotten his name now, you know, the chap that was...
Cumberbatch?
Sorry, The King's Speech. I forgot myself there. I was on The King's Speech, and I just played a BBC technician there. And she actually came on the set and she said to me, "You're the Spiv, ain't you?" So she remembered me all them years before, which is really nice. She didn't have to say that. She could have just elbowed me, but she was really friendly and it was great. Yeah, lovely lady. Yeah.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So we've got VE Day approaching, Ian. So I thought we'd have a little chat about VE Day, because I thought, you know, there you are. You've got the gear on. It's very nostalgic. Now, I know VE Day is actually tomorrow, but the reality was back then that actually they started celebrating today, didn't they? Because they already knew that it was coming. It was just the official announcement. I just read out something that I've got here. With Berlin surrounded, Adolf Hitler committed suicide on 30th of April, 45. His named successor was Grand Admiral Karl Dönitz, and during his brief spell as Germany's president, Dönitz negotiated an end to the war with allies, while seeking to save as many Germans as possible from falling into Soviet hands. A German delegation arrived at the headquarters of British Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery at Lüneburg Heath, east of Hamburg, on 4th of May. There, Montgomery accepted the unconditional surrender of German forces in the Netherlands, northwest Germany, and Denmark. On 7th of May, at his headquarters in Reims, France, Supreme Commander General Eisenhower accepted the unconditional surrender of all German forces. So that was actually today, but we celebrate it tomorrow, don't we, as the official party day.
Yeah, Winston Churchill said at 12 o'clock tonight, like 7th, tomorrow is a bank holiday and everyone's going to have a good celebration. So they knew it was coming. People were getting all their ration coupons and getting as much grub as they could. All the street parties, you know, round where we used to live, Ken, you know, on the estate, they had these big, like, trestle tables in, like, V shapes, you know, and people bought grub out and lemonade and beer, and it just went on. And if you look at the film, you know, around, like, London, Trafalgar Square, the place was absolutely rammed. There was all the servicemen, ladies and men, and all the forces, Americans, British, Polish, all the troops was out there. Apparently even the prostitutes were giving away freebies, you know. That's how excited people were. Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, I saw a lot of people around Buckingham Palace, weren't there? They were climbing the lampposts outside Buckingham Palace. You saw them everywhere, and it was just so, you know, you look at it and you think, wow, how must they have felt, you know? And I know we're going to feel relieved after COVID and everything else, but can you imagine what it was like back then to feel that this thing had ended after all this time and all those dark days?
That's right. Nearly 6 years, you know, bombing, rationing and all that sort of thing. And like everyone got a chance to let their hair down, and you know the police was letting people get away with stuff. But people were climbing on the railings at Buckingham Palace where they would never been able to do that. And then the King and the Queen, Winston Churchill, Princess Margaret, Princess Elizabeth, our Queen, came out and waved, and they all sang. It was just amazing. And I don't think there was many punch-ups because everyone was so happy. And you know, I know the Spiv, people like me, was up there picking pockets. Know what I mean? Any opportunity, Governor.
Well,
But
presumably there wasn't much money around even then, although rationing was stopping. There must have
that's
been a
right.
problem with actual physical cash at that point, which is where you
Yeah,
came along and made some money. It was your way of actually surviving, wasn't it?
exactly. I mean, people thought when the war ended in 45, that was it with rationing, but it actually went on to 1954. You know,
Wow.
till we got back on our feet, really. So it did continue. You know, there were still shortages.
Yeah.
Most of our ships that were bringing cargo and that have been like blown up by the German U-boats. They really knocked them out. But it took us a while to get back on our feet. But I talked to my mum. She was born in 1937, and she said, she remembers that them parties because everyone was out there just having a fabulous time.
Yeah.
Getting uptown, and I mean, this is what I'm hoping that when this virus thing's out the way, we won't have VE Day. We'll have VV Day, won't we? Victory over virus. That's what we
Well, let's
want.
hope so. And let's hope it
Yeah,
comes soon, not late.
that's right.
But yeah, and it's a shame because I know that right now, surely you'd be at some big festival or another celebrating VE Day, presumably tomorrow, would you?
Well, yeah. Every year I go out to Guernsey and I do their liberation event because I don't know if you know, but the Channel Islands, Guernsey, Guernsey, Herm, Sark, and Alderney, they was all occupied by the Germans. They was actually on British soil,
Wow.
and the
Don't think of
Guernsey
that, do you?
people, yeah, they was there. And I mean, there's some fabulous photos of like German soldiers standing outside Barclays Bank having a fag, and it's like there's a German soldier at Barclays Bank, and the Guernsey folk and the Jersey folk was really angry because Churchill didn't do anything about it. He left them to it. He let the Germans stay there under occupation, and it was only like on the 8th when the Germans signed the surrender that the British troops was able to get back there and
Never knew
take
that.
all the Germans away. Yeah, I mean, and every year I go there for that 4-day event, and it's fabulous. But this year, it's not happening, is it? So
No, very sad. And I know there's a lot of dancing goes on, a lot of rock and roll dancing, which I know you're an expert at. I've seen you on that stage doing the old rock and roll and explaining how
yeah,
GIs took all our girls, didn't they? Because they could do this dancing, and we had to catch up in order to get back and get in with the girls.
I know. Well, I mean, we used to do like the social the things like foxtrot, quick step, and waltz. But when the Yanks come over, apart from bringing like nylon stockings, chewing gum, and cigarettes, they bought their style of dancing, which was like a jitterbug swing dance, which was faster. And the dance halls, they couldn't cope with it, and they used to put signs up saying no jitterbugging because jitterbugging and it's not like you're kicking your legs out. People can get hurt.
Yeah, it was like the punk of its day then.
Sorry, mate.
It was like the punk rock of its day. People were probably
yeah. Probably not as much spitting though, but there was a lot of kicking going on. And like you say, the Yanks, they was getting 4 times the wages our blokes were getting. Their uniforms were better. They had plenty of money, and they had the things that the girls like nylons. I mean, they love a nylon, didn't they? The girls, you know what I mean? And there was punch ups all over the place, because the British soldiers, sailors, and airmen were getting fed up. They were getting their burrs nicked, weren't they, by the old septic tanks? The Yanks. Sorry. Yeah,
but who can blame the girls? These guys, they dance better, they had more money. What can you do?
They all look like film stars, didn't they? That's the thing, they all look like film stars. Yeah, but yeah.
I've got a message here for you, Viv. How will you be spending VE Day then?
Well, tomorrow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my best whistle on, and I might get a train up to Oxford Street because I've got a caseload of hand sanitizer and bog rolls I might be flogging. So that's what I'll probably be doing. And I might have a couple of sherbets as well, just Lovely. To sort of, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll all be doing something. I know there's plenty of stuff lined up on the telly. There was loads of stuff in London. There was going to be fly pasts and all that, Spitfire palaver, and it's just such a shame. But, I'm sure that next year they'll make it like 76 3/4 VE Day. They do something. They've got to, haven't they, really?
Well, yeah, it was a big one. I mean, 75 we've had to miss it, really, haven't we, to all intents and purposes? But it's good that we can be here and talk about it now.
It's great, mate.
What it was like back there. And it's been amazing having you on, Viv. Absolutely amazing. We had a great audience, and I'm sure we're going to get loads of great feedback about this. So thank you so much for coming on and being live here for Isolation. It's been absolutely brilliant, and I hope we can have you on again sometime and we can talk again.
But, yeah, anytime. Just give us the word, mate, and I'll be on it. In fact, I must tell you quickly, I was talking to a bloke the other day, and he said to me, he said, "You're not a Cockney, are you?" I was so angry. You know what? I pushed him down the apples and oranges. No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm South London, like you, Ken. We're South London geezers, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah. So thanks ever so much for coming on, Viv, or Ian, I
cheers,
should say.
folks. Don't forget
Yeah.
V for
Victory Europe.
V for victory, and V for victory over virus. Nice one.
Peace.
Cheers, Ken.
Peace
Be
out.
lucky. All the best. See you, folks.